Welcome back to In the Garden. Joining me today is Jordan from Grange Co-op, and today we're going to continue our conversation about tomatoes, but this time we're talking about how to specifically grow them using, you've called this a cage or part of like the stake for lateral support. Is that what we're saying?
Yep, even though we talked last time, the determinate and indeterminate varieties for how much support they may need, all your tomatoes are going to need something. This little bamboo stake that comes with your start, or maybe putting one in your own garden, is probably not going to do it for a plant that's going to get 3, 4, or 5 feet tall. So these cages are popular. I think everyone's seen them. They're not my favorite. I find that in the year, I'm throwing away several that have rusted or just busted apart.
They're a little flimsy too. Does that affect it when you're growing?
Yeah, they're difficult to put in. If you have tough ground, they're going to bend. It's just altogether a frustration. I would rather upgrade to something like this. We call these sturdy cages. They are same principle, but a lot thicker gauge wire. They're going to be a lot more resistant to rust. The joints are going to go out, aren't going to go out so easily. This particular option, while it does stack, is something I would probably just leave in the garden year round. Use it as a trellis for peas, nasturtium, anything else in your cool weather time. And just save that spot for your tomatoes the next year.
Sweet. And then you have larger options over here. Is that kind of a similar thing as that one?
Yeah. So, you know, if the sturdy cage is something you're looking for, but I'm limited on my garden space, especially around winter, they do make folding options that are pretty dandy. So something like this has all the durability of the smaller sturdy cage, but we can store it over winter. So that garden space is wide open for your cabbages and your broccoli and kale and what have you.
Awesome, cool. And then so for people who don't have gardens at home, let's say they want to buy a tomato plant, they want to plant them in maybe a pot, that's doable, right?
Definitely doable. And yeah, that's a consideration for a lot of folks. They just want one tomato on their back porch. They don't have room for something like this. I would suggest minimum 5-gallon pot. A 7-gallon pot is even better. 10-gallon would be best. The amount of water that soil is going to hold is going to keep your plant from struggling with the extreme dry to extreme wet conditions, and overall your tomato health is going to be a lot better. I would also change what tomatoes you're shopping for. Try not to get the biggest of the big plants. Maybe not the beefsteaks, maybe not the big slicers, but look for smaller things. Your cherry and grape tomatoes, even some dwarf varieties that are made for containers. It's a little secret, but if you can do this with tomatoes, but not in other plants. But when you're planting them, if you take off all of these leaves down below where the top maybe third or so of it, like that, I wouldn't suggest this for any of your other perennials. But when you plant this and bury that up to the air, all those nodules are going to put out roots. And we just taken a shortcut that adds maybe 2 weeks of growth time to get that plant deeply established.
Sweet, awesome, I love that. Well, thank you for joining me today, Jordan. If you have any more questions, you could talk to an expert at a Grange Co-op near you, such as Jordan himself, or you can head to our website, KDRV.com.